Terry, do you know where Kyron is? Look, Desiree and your husband are saying that you know where Kyron is. Do you know? Can you tell the world something? Can you please tell the world something?
That was an intrepid reporter trying to get some information out of the woman with the red hair, Kyron Horman's stepmom, Terry, who is really the focus of so many questions tonight as this little boy disappeared on her watch. Meantime, search teams have returned to the area near Kyron's school. They did that this past week. Published reports say investigators were looking for a family. Apparently, they were following up on a tip, asking people, have you seen such and such family? Meanwhile, Kyron's parents are clinging to their belief that this little boy is still alive. So, Pat Brown, is it possible Terry handed Kyron off to some other family? Maybe she didn't want to harm him, but just get him out of her life.
I sincerely doubt it. I just don't see her doing that. That means that other people have to be involved that can come back and rat you out. And if it's true that she had the alleged hit on her husband, we see that she has a violent tendency as well. My belief is that no, she'd be more likely to simply eliminate somebody who was causing her problems or eliminate somebody to get attention. Either way, but I don't hold out a lot of hope at this point.
Well, let's get to the psychological aspect. Police reportedly believe Terry Horman made, quote, sexual overtures to both the would-be hitman and to her alleged lover, Michael Cook. Cops also say Terry sent hundreds of texts and graphic sexual photos of herself in various states of undress, graphic, to Michael Cook, who admits inappropriate communication but claims they never actually had sex. So my question to Wendy Murphy, you've covered so many of these kinds of stories, been a prosecutor. Is it possible that Terry was unhappy in her marriage because she wasn't getting the attention and adulation that she used to get? Take a look at her right there, when she was greased up and buffed out and a very stunning bodybuilder. Could it be?
Will you classify that as sexually graphic photos right there? What do you think?
Was getting her needs met. She didn't mind caring for Kyron. But when the attention waned, when she lost her physique, when her relationship with Kane's dad went sour, she began to resent caring for his child, not hers, but his.
You know, Jane, you should have your PhD. I think that makes perfect sense. If she liked how her body was when it was buff, and she looked good. I mean, that was a tight body. Not my style, but if she didn't like that she then apparently became flabby, that could absolutely explain a lot of sadness. It's too bad that that's how she values herself. You know, there's another reason she might have been sending these sexual things back and forth to those guys in particular, and it could be that's her payment. They maybe said, we'll be glad to do this for you or that for you, but you're going to pay us. And she said, I haven't got cash, but I got a picture of my crotch. And, you know, I'm thinking very creatively, what would a prosecutor make of these things if they really weren't sexually involved? What's she doing? You know, maybe the guys see some value in that. I don't know. It's very creepy. I have not had a case quite like this.
Well, Wendy, you have a way with words. And again, those two gentlemen, and I'll call them gentlemen, they have not been charged with anything, and maybe they didn't say, yes, I'll do something if you show me your crotch. Peggy, Missouri, your question or thought, ma'am?
Well, it's a little bit off target from what you were asking about, but it has to do with the oldest child that she has. There hasn't been anything said about him. And the timeline when he left, was he involved with Kyron? Was there some difficulty between him and the boy? Because sometimes a mother will take a different stand when she's protecting one child. So
Michelle Segota, take it away.
Well, reportedly, and again, this child is a minor, so we don't really know that much about him, and he doesn't appear to have much going on with this particular situation, but it's a good question. Apparently, he did move out early on, and at this time, from the last that I learned and the last that I heard, that he is back with his father, and that they're trying to get back to some sort of normal life, and his father is just trying to kind of advance his son forward and trying to keep him out of this.
But it does seem that everybody is fleeing this house like it's burning down.
Well, and
I think that's really fascinating. You see the older kid leave, and then Kyron disappears, and now Kane and his baby daughter take off.
Right, and also Desiree spoke out and said that, you know, Kyron had said recently before he went missing.
We're going to get to that right now.
Sure.
Was Kyron trying to tell his family something before he disappeared, just as Michelle Segona referred to? Listen to his own mother, Desiree Young, on the Today Show.
Kyron became increasingly unhappy about not spending time with me. He wanted to come live with us. Several times he would just break down and just sob because he wanted to stay.
Ryan Smith, as the host of In Session, you've covered so many of these gruesome cases. Is there often a foreshadowing of trouble to come as we look back?
You know, sometimes there is, and I want to be balanced here. On the one hand, we know that sometimes kids can have responses or reactions to parents, particularly when it's step-parents, to say, you know what, I feel uncomfortable, I don't want to be here. But I got to tell you, Jane, we've covered a lot of cases where it has happened. You hear a child complaining, and the next thing you know, they end up disappearing. But at the same time, remember, she's not a suspect. She hasn't been charged here. So I think what really is happening here is her suspect judgment is really coming back to get her. If what we believe in the accusations of Cain are true, the attempt, the sharing of the restraining order, all of these things, not to mention the potential abduction of the other younger child, is very scary for everyone involved. So you have to question it.
Absolutely. I mean,
you can't let her off the hook.
No, I mean, you cannot, a team of Hollywood scriptwriters could not come up with this much bizarre behavior in this short time span if they were working overnight at Paramount Studios. All right, fantastic panel. Thank you so much. Coming up, the melodrama.